Are you kidding me? I mean, I talk about karma and being touched by, higher power and stuff like that. But the way, I mean, and it goes back, right, where you look at the rivalry from the game where we blow Patrick Wild in Montreal and he comes off the bench and trade me right now,
I didn't know that until I saw your show. I didn't realize you guys were the team that beat him like that.
Right. Here's the thing, right? So sometimes you create your own worst thing, but the rivalry when he got traded to Colorado and just even playing from, 96, setting the league record and then losing and then Chris Draper getting hit from behind and just from 96 to 02, right? And pretty much when Patrick Waugh got to Colorado till we retired him after Game 7 in 02. So I just say he's got to be a little bitter. I got a lot of goals on him, and he doesn't speak too highly to Detroit. We cost him a lot of things. They beat us the one time, but again, it's all about that was always must-see TV, that rivalry, because we always knew that in order for us to succeed, we had to go through them. And I'll tell you, if you go back, because we'd lost winning the President's Trophy 93, lockout year, we go on, let's get punkered. Colorado beats us. Drapes gets hit from behind, stuff like that. We were the team, right? Too many Europeans, too many this, too many that. They'll never win. They're not tough enough, whatever like this, which all leads to March 26th, which by the way, we hadn't beaten them the first 3 games of the season after they beat us out the year before. So there's a rivalry thing about we have to win the game, right? So in order, the only way out is through. So, I mean, I break it down. I tell everybody, when Chris Draper got hit from behind, that was in May of 96. March 26, 97 is 10 months later.
Yeah.
You got to think about, holy cow, you ever stewed over something, let alone how you're going to get payback for your best friend, let alone your sentiment on your team. But yet you got to win the game so you can't cost your team, which, Rouse, you know how that is.
Oh, yeah.
You can't take a bad penalty. I mean, that's even worse. You'd rather take a minus, right? That wasn't your fault. You take a bad penalty, you never seen the ice again. So it had to play itself out. And the way that it played out, you can't write a better script. I don't care if you're Tarantino, or Coppola, friggin' Scorsese, Spielberg. And I'm a little biased, Nasty, because I was a star. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I break it down because now it's coming up on 25 years. But the only thing that was ever said, and I'll tell you guys, was when I got Drapes out of the hospital 2 days after he got his jaw wired shut with his and his titanium plate in his face. Doctor gave me the wires so he didn't Belushi himself and, puke on his vomit or whatever. That's how bad it was. But I said to him, we got in the car. I said to him, there are 2 things. I said to him and I asked him a question. I looked at him. I said, don't worry. I'll take care of that. Then I asked him, where do you want to eat? And screw that little prick because, I knew where he wanted to eat, on Diamo's, and it takes a guy with his jaw wired shut, a titanium plate in his mouth, 4 hours to eat a plate of freaking gnocchi. I'm not mad. Don't worry. I was out on a boat drinking back then, bro. I was still drinking, so I didn't matter back then, but it's 4 hours. Anybody, if they have a buddy that I'm just telling you. But the whole point, to March 26, 97, when you remember the play, right? This goes, to me, it goes a bigger representation, 30,000-foot view of life. Who started that?
Larry
the elder statesman. The elder statesman. All 5'6", 140 pounds, soaking wet. Igor Larionov, the professor. Should have been called Google. Should have been called Google. You know why? Because back in the day, right, somebody'd say something and you'd give them an answer and they'd say, that's not right. Where'd you hear that? And I go, Iggy told me. I go, oh, it must be true. Right? But the worldly guy, the Red Army, right? One of the first Russians, and that's where, to me, in society, you look for the elder statesman and sometimes just to tip the apple cart just a little bit. And I remember on the ice because and Riley can talk to this because you're looking for that opportunity. You know Lemieux's on the ice and what it is, but you got to pick your opportunities. So when Iggy starts slapping Forsberg, I'm like, oh man, that looks like how cute, 2 puppies on Christmas. But then I remembered Lemieux's on the ice. So right there, boom, I got Shark Week going to him, but then Foot grabs me, and Adam Foote, he's as strong as he is ugly.
Beast, eh?
He's as strong as he is ugly with that big nose, right? But he's got me. Then Shanny comes flying through, chops me, I fade, and I tell everybody, which is true. And this is what it is. So not only does this all happen, but I'm a lefty, right? I'm a lefty. Watch I pulled that right hand back, looked him straight in the eyes, and I swear to God, every man, woman, child, player, everybody that hated this man, God put him in my fist because I never hit anybody so hard or more on the button. And even Claude Lemieux says he didn't turtle. He said it's the hardest he's ever been hit. And I know people have punched him a few times.
Yeah.
Right. But I got him on the button. Now, the whole thing is I hit him and I know I got him, but I'm not satisfied. Right. I don't know what's going on behind me. I don't know I'm this far away from Waugh grabbing me because I'm trying to put my fist through his skull and rip his heart out through his nose, even though anatomically I know it's not possible, but I'm still trying. I don't know this stuff's going on behind me. All I see, right? You know, when you get frustrated, Riles, and you try to pick a guy up and uppercut him, and then you give him a couple rabbit punches, which is the back of the head, which you probably shouldn't do, but you're mad because he's turtling. And then you look over at the bench, and it was like church through the stained glass window. There's a beam of ray right on Drapes. When I looked and I went, all right. Now everybody knows I'm a huge wrestling fan. So I put him in the bulldog, grabbed him by the head, and I slammed his face as hard as I could. I had a handful of hair, and I slammed his face as hard as I could against those boards. Because that's when I realized, I guess I was a little bit more Jewish, old school Testament Genesis, an eye for an eye. And I thought that was good. You're going to hit my boy from behind in the bed. Payback's coming. And to this day, Claude's got a scar on his head from that. Now, The best part of that is it splattered like a paintball on the Comerica Bank sign, which I signed for the president of Comerica Bank, and he hung it over his desk. That's how everybody was in against him. But so it's true. I tried to knee him, right? But the next day when I went, I said, no, I was off balance. And Dan Shockey, one of my favorite linesmen who had me at them, backed me up and said he pushed me off balance. I got 4 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct.
I can't believe that.
4 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct, which I get how many games today? 40 games?
Oh, you'd have been out.
Yeah, you're done. You're done
Pay
for
the
good.
play. So here's the whole caveat of that, right? So we go into the locker room, and then we're watching the replay, watching Bernie pump Lemieux, cut him or pump Waugh, cut him open, all this. But the bottom line is we're down 5-3 into the third period. We tie it up. And here's the kicker, because I'm not saying if to get the revenge wouldn't have made a big thing, but the fact that I scored the overtime goal, so I slayed the dragon, I got the girl. Yeah. But in Wing Wheel Nation, this is important, because in Wing Wheel Nation, Detroit Red Wings, at that moment, and I remember when you see at the end, I jump and Shady's there and Vladdy's there. It was that moment. It was the proverbial, it's going to be all right. I don't know what that means, but it's going to be all right everywhere in Wing Wheel Nation, in the whole universe, right? Well, from that point, enabled us mentally and psychologically have the advantage to beat Colorado in 6 games in the conference finals and go on. I got 4 cups because of that. Now, this is important for all the Red Wing Wheel Nation out there that's watching, listening, and understand, because I had that same feeling I had when I scored that goal, March 26, 97, the same day Steve Yzerman was introduced as vice president and general manager a few years ago of this team. I was at the press conference and the same exact feeling hit me. Ooh, it's going to be all right. Don't know what it means. Red Wing land, I
Wow.
think you could see it's not when, it's when. But it goes back to the guys that are doing it. All my guys, Stevie, Drapes, Cronwall, Nick, Fisher, Cleary, Horka, all these guys, they loved it. This is what they're doing. Their passion is to bring this back, just like my passion is to bring option of this plant. So
Yep.
that whole, it's beyond anything else, because the fact is, guys, we're 25 years later.
Yeah.
It's coming up on 25 years later. And I talk about this. I travel around doing comedy and stuff like this because I know where I was, but it doesn't matter how old you were. That is what Wing Wheel Nation is all about. And the Detroit versus everybody, everything else and stuff like this. But at the end of the day, right? Because at the end of the day, in life and in sports, bad things happen, but you cannot lose respect for a fellow human being. And the fact Claude Lemieux didn't apologize to Chris Draper, said you never would have heard of him. He's not sorry, and he probably just made him millions of dollars.
Wow.
You don't like that.
No.
So
Yeah, I know.
karma's real. That night, my name was Karma. And you know what?
Right?
For whatever reason, Riles, it's just what I tell everybody is don't be afraid, because I wished for that moment for 10 months.